and I had put it on hold. And I wanted to go all in working for myself. I started to work on me. And this is where I found Bob Proctor and the Law of Attraction.
Now we've got a lady here who's relatively new. How are you, Kathleen?
I'm doing really good, Bob, thanks. I created a version of myself that was powerful and successful and loved and beautiful in the body that I am in now.
What would you say to Kathleen 2 years ago?
Wow.
I was making $3,000 a month in my online business when I started studying Law of Attraction, and here I am $15 million later in just under 2 years in a beautiful academy to help purpose-driven entrepreneurs create success in their own lives.
The dollar amount is just a reflection of the impact that we have made on this world and how many people we've been able to help through courses, programs, masterminds, live events. And that leads us up to the Bahamas, where it's all coming together beautifully and things shifted. It was horrifying. I'm somebody who's always thinking about the future and the bright side and the fourth dimension, and there was none of that. But I have come out of this now just absolutely knowing without a shadow of doubt, even more than I knew before, what I'm here to do. It was all part of the plan of preparing me to be able to help more people. Tomorrow starts tonight. This is one life. We are only here for a short time. I only have infinite number of opportunities. I only have an infinite number of moments to experience the wonder that is this life. And I'm not going to waste a moment of it any longer.
Good morning and welcome. Welcome. Yesterday was amazing. I left just feeling so in love, absolutely in love. I hope you all felt that same way yesterday. I know lots of messages, lots of comments, lots of people posting their self-love act. That was the homework yesterday. I will explain a little bit more about my journey. I had a couple questions yesterday saying what happened to you? And, so I'm gonna give you a brief little rundown about the past 3 years of my life so that you all can get a little bit more of a gist of it. But first, I would love to know from you, what did you do yesterday for your act of self-love? So what was the thing that you did? Some of you did multiple things. I did a beautiful workout with my trainer, Eric Bigger. So for those of you that don't know Eric, he is a phenomenal, beautiful spirit. And he supports me in a lot of different ways, but working out in the gym is one of the ways. But one of the things that he does as part of his workouts is we do the workout. And then when the workout is over, we do breath work. We then do declarations. So he gives me declarations to repeat back to him. And then he always does a prayer. And so a prayer in that way is something that I have never done prior to meeting Eric. No one has ever done a prayer for me before. And the first time he did a prayer for me, I'll never forget. We were in Los Angeles, California. We were working out at his gym, at his building that he lives in. And there's this green outdoor space that you can kind of work out in. And we were sitting there and, we did the breath work. We did the declarations, and he says, okay, Kathleen, it's time for a prayer. I'm going to do a prayer for you. And then he sat down, we closed our eyes, and he did this extensive prayer for me. And it brought me to tears because I had never had anyone pray for me in that way with me present to hear it. And it was very, very touching, very touching. So we do that at the end of every single workout. And I don't know that I've said this yet, but Eric is coming to Mexico. So Eric is coming to the retreat in Mexico in October. He is going to run daily workout sessions and do the breath work, the prayer, the declarations. And then Eric is also going to MC for me, and he is going to help me with some of the sessions. So I'm really excited to have him come. Eric is also, if you don't, please go follow him. It's Eric Bigger on Instagram. He was on The Bachelor. He was on Bachelor in Paradise. He's been on Family Feud. He's been on Dancing with the Stars. He's been on all these beautiful things. But him and I have a very special relationship. He is a very, very dear friend of mine, and he is a beautiful spirit. He studies what I study. He understands it. We talk about it even while we're working out, and it's really beautiful. He actually read my book. How we met is he read my book. He did a review on it, and then I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, thanks for doing that review. And then we ended up on a Zoom and now hiking together and working out together and all kinds of things. And now he's going to come to the retreat. So really, really exciting, really beautiful. And he's a special person. So that was my self-care. I also drew myself a beautiful bath last night, lit some candles. I really, really believe in the power of the entire experience. So I created a beautiful romantic experience for myself last night. I lit candles. I used the Epsom salts set that is my favorite. It smells so beautiful and amazing. And run the water, dim the lights, play the meditation music, and I just had a beautiful experience to be with myself. And that's so important to, I like to use the word romanticize my life. So when you romanticize your life, you're romanticizing your alone time. You're romanticizing the time with your kids. You're romanticizing the time with your partner or your spouse or your friends. And so it's about, when you romanticize something, you make it a big deal. You make it really special. You give it more meaning and you feel it. So it's really, really beautiful. Yes, Mandy, you'll get to meet Eric. So exciting. Several of you that are coming to Mexico are on here, so you guys are going to love it. So just a little bit of background about my story for those that haven't been following me for very long. I actually started my journey in September of 2019. I was a registered nurse for 12 years. I had resigned from my nursing career, didn't renew my license. I was ready to be an entrepreneur full time. And so I was selling some online products, doing some affiliate marketing, and I decided I wanted to quantum leap my life. Okay, I was like, I'd like to change things. I'd like to quantum leap. I'd like to do something a little bit different. So of course, that's when I got introduced to Bob Proctor. So I did not know who he was before that. I had seen the movie The Secret maybe one time, but it was not something that I had followed for long. And so I signed up and I took a program with him. And not long after that, I moved to a place where I started to teach it. So I started to teach it to everyone, everywhere. And I was manifesting sums of money. I manifested $21,795 to the T. I literally wrote that amount down. And that's the amount that showed up in my bank account. I manifested being an author in a best-selling book. I manifested being on TV for a makeover. Like, all these things started to come to me, and I was like, this stuff works. This works. And so January of 2020, I partnered with Bob Proctor to become a coach of this material myself, to become a manifestation coach. And I used his program. And I did that for about a year and 3 or 4 months. And within that time, my business absolutely exploded and blew up. I used my own strategies, my own way of branding and marketing myself in a way that Bob didn't even use at the time. And I did something that had never been done in his organization. And I received my diamond pin, which is a level of recognition with Bob, in under a year. And I made $3.3 million that first year. So that little clip in there of me and Bob together, that was at his paradigm shift, where he had me come on and tell everybody how much money I had made in such a short time. And that was the first time I ever said it out loud. So it was a little uncomfortable, but I knew that in order for me to help people step into their greatness, I needed to talk about how I was being great and how I was using this material to shift and transform my life. So I share about my quantum leaps to show you that it's possible. And so I've said this since the very beginning. I am my own best testimonial, which means I am going to use everything that I know on myself first. And I'm going to put it to work, and I'm going to put it into my body. I'm going to embody it, and I'm going to create what I want to create in my life so that it's evidence that you guys can create it in yours. And it's a ripple effect now. That video that we played at the beginning, those are real text messages or emails that we have gotten from people that have been in the Millionaire Program or Modern Mentor Program or Wealth from Within. And those are their real words expressing how their life is changing through that. So it's important that we share. It's important that we express and we tell people just what is possible when you shift the way you think. It's very powerful. So I built, a very large business. In 2021, we did 12 million in revenue, 3 million the first year, 12 million the second year. And then in January of 2022, I decided I wanted to focus on my health. So I wanted to start walking every day. I quit drinking alcohol. I really wanted my body to last me a long time. I've built an incredible life and I don't want it to end. I want my life to be as long as it can be. And I know that this vessel that I'm in right now, this body that we call Kathleen, this body is going to last me as long as I allow her to. And so I decided I wanted to be healthy. And I was like, let's do it. I started walking every day, stopped drinking coffee, switched over to matcha, which I've got my matcha right here. And then no coffee, no alcohol, and I started walking every day. And then I obviously went through a separation in February of 2022. And I moved into a home by myself, and I went from seeing my daughters every single day to seeing them only 50% of the time. And so I didn't allow myself to process it. I actually just suppressed it and moved forward. I'm strong. I can do it. I can get through anything. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. And this is what some of you would refer to in the industry sometimes called spiritual bypassing. And so what that means is that I actually didn't process the emotions and the energy that were in my body, but I simply repressed them and ignored them and pushed them aside. And so it built up. And so in May, actually the end of April, I got pneumonia. And then by May 10th, I was so sick that my right lung was collapsed down to the size of a loonie. So, imagine your lung collapsed down, completely trapped. And so my mom booked an emergency private jet from Bahamas to Miami. She said, that's it. She packed my stuff. And she said, we're going straight to the emergency room. And they took me in. And I think 18 hours later, I had emergency lung surgery. They were hopeful that they could do it laparoscopic, but there was way too much damage. So they did have to open more than I thought I would. So I was in the ICU. I had a chest tube and I couldn't come home to my daughters for, I think it was almost 5 weeks by the time I came home to my family. And so the entire experience, what I want to say is when I look up the spiritual meaning of pneumonia, it's repressed grief. And so I did not allow myself to grieve the changes in my life, the changes in my relationships, the changes in how much I was going to see and be around my daughters. And I didn't let myself feel it. And so since the surgery, May 10th, I now allow myself to feel emotion. I allow it to come up and I ask the question why. I allow myself to experience it. I don't just switch it. I don't just push it down. This is one of the things that I actually taught our millionaire students. I think it was 2 weeks ago, guys. I can't remember, but I talked about how to allow your emotions to come through, to understand them, to work through them. That is manifestation. Manifestation is becoming the best of yourself. It's becoming a version of yourself that you aren't quite aware of in this moment, but all you have to do is become aware of it. And you become aware of it by understanding you, understanding yourself, understanding your emotions. So when we say that somebody is aware and they are awake, that means they know themselves. They know themselves. And so this is what we do. We help people through a journey of transformation, a journey of healing, a journey of feeling, a journey of growth, of ascension, of rising, of elevating. All of those things to really, really help you step into the best of yourself and create the experience that you want here in this physical 3D world. We are here. I do believe that this is one iteration of our soul's experience. And so Kathleen Cameron, who I am today right now in this physical body, is here for a certain amount of time. And so I'm not, I don't feel like time is running out. I don't feel like we have only a little bit, and so we have to do as much as we can in a little bit of time. I think I'm just going to go do something else after, just in a different physical body. Maybe it's on a different planet. I don't know. But I think that there's several different iterations of me in different ways. But my focus and my goal right here in this one is to make it the best, is to truly experience life. I do not want to be 80 years old, 85 years old, and be looking back and going, I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. I wish I should have done this, or go here or experience that. I want to live my life full on and full out. I want to experience everything that life has to offer. And I really, really don't want to ever look back and feel like I didn't do what I wanted to do. So true success to me is being able to do and experience what I want to do and experience in the moment that I want to do and experience it in. And so many times the only reason we don't do those things is because we're not asking for them. We literally are not asking for them. How do we ask for what we want? How do we ask for what we want? So the universe responds to what we ask for always. We always get what we ask for. And we ask through our thinking, through our feeling, and through our actions. So you might say today, I would love, universe, I would love $10,000. I would love a successful growing business. I would love to enroll more clients, blah, 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 blah. Whatever that is that you want. But as long as you believe that it is separate from you, as long as you do not believe that it is true, as long as you don't think like it, you don't feel like it, and you don't act like it, you are not manifesting it. You're wanting it, but you are not manifesting it. In order to manifest it, you must believe you are it. You must believe that you have it. You must fuse with the belief that you are that which has the $10,000. We manifest what we are conscious of being and possessing. Do you know what it means to be conscious? So there are things within you right now that are unconscious. And there are things that you are unconsciously committed to. So if you keep seeing in your life every day a lack of money, you are unconsciously committed to having no money. If you are somebody that is fighting with a lot of people in your life, you are unconsciously committed to drama and conflict. If you continue to have people leaving your life, people leave, they don't want to be your friend anymore, they walk away, you're unconsciously committed to people leaving. And so the beautiful thing about that then is that we pay attention and we take the unconscious and we make it conscious. So I want more money, but I don't have more money. So why am I committed to that? And so we have a conscious awareness of what our commitments are. So we might say, I want more money, but I'm unconsciously committed to not having it. That's the difference. So Brittany, that's my struggle, believing it. What if you weren't struggling to believe? What if you were somebody that believed in the impossible? What if you were somebody that believed in themselves so hard that you persist, that you're disciplined, that you're focused, that you keep going no matter what? I believe in myself so much that you plant an idea, you say, Kathleen, I think you could do this. Kathleen, I think you could do that. I say, yes, I can. Yes, let's go. I believe in this material. I believe in what I teach so much that I'm willing to stand here and just tell you everything that I know and give you all of this information so that you can run with it and go use it like I did. But if you don't believe me, if you're skeptical, if you don't have an open mind, it will not happen for you. It will not manifest for you because you don't believe it. So how can you believe more? How can you be a version of yourself who believes in the impossible, who believes in the incredible, who believes in the extraordinary, who believes in quantum leaps, who believes in collapsing time? Because that version of you is powerful. That is powerful, right? So the first thing we want to manifest is the desire. There are people that really don't want a lot. They don't want for a lot. I see it as that there is this flame inside of me, and you could probably feel it when you're in my presence, or when you're on my trainings, or when you meet me and you talk to me. You will feel that I have a flame inside of me. I have a burning desire for more. And I have cultivated that desire. I have nurtured that desire. I have watered that desire. I have continued to allow that desire to grow. Because if you do not desire something outside of what you currently have, you're complacent. You're satisfied. You're okay just with what it is. So in the moments where things don't look like they're going well, or they're showing up for you, or things are taking time, or you experience contrast, if you don't have a burning desire, what are you going to do? You're going to quit. You're going to give up. You're just going to stop. You're just going to be like, yeah. So how badly do you want it? Now, we don't want to be too hungry. We don't want to be too needy. We don't want to be too attached to the outcome. What does that mean? To be hungry. You're begging. You know, when my girls, they come to me hungry, they're like, I'm starving. I'm starving, Mom. Please, I need something to eat. You are not starving. You do not need anything. You are fine. And so when they come to me and they're starving like that, what do? Do I rush to the kitchen and go make them food? No, I'm like, you can wait. You don't need to rush me. But when they come to me, they're like, we're kind of getting a bit hungry, Mom. Like, what can we eat? I'll be like, oh, okay, let's go figure out something to eat. Feel that energy? Yeah. So do you have a burning desire? How much do you want it? I have said this, and I will say this time and time again. I am a very driven woman, and I'm proud of it. I know what I want, and I get everything I want. Can you say that? Listen, that isn't me observing my physical world. That's me creating an identity. I've created a version of myself that believes that she gets everything she wants. I write it down and I get it. I write it down and I get it. And sometimes it happens so fast. Like what I said yesterday, somebody said to me, what did you mean about like LA and your manifestations? So I have written down that I travel back and forth between Los Angeles and Toronto. Like I live in LA and I live in Toronto, and I travel back and forth between the two. And I don't have a place out there. Like there's talk about me like renting a place out there and things like that, but I haven't done that yet. But I wrote down and, was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And then all of a sudden, all these opportunities to be in LA keep coming to me. Like more and more and more and more and more. I'm like, okay, well, I'm probably not going to be back in LA for like 6 weeks. And then boom, I get an invitation to a gala. I'm not going to be back in LA for a month. And then, this TV show Biohacker MD wants you to film, wants you to be a guest expert. So the universe is responding to me. And it's like, ooh, was I ready enough? I don't know. But yes, I will receive. I'm not going to slow it down. I will receive. But I made a joke about like, I'm having a hard time keeping up with my own manifestations because it's happening so fast. So what if that's your experience? Right? So the burning desire is important. One of the things that Bob used to say, he used to say that people that are interested will do what's convenient. So if you're interested in a change, if you have a little bit of a desire and you're like, yeah, I think I might want to shift things. I might want to change my life. I might want a quantum leap. We'll see. You're going to do whatever's convenient. So when it's not convenient, you're not going to do it. So when it feels a little bit hard, you're not going to do it. When it's not showing up fast enough, you're going to stop. But those that are committed will do whatever it takes. Do you doubt me and my commitment? I have committed the rest of my life to this material, to awakening people, to helping people escape the matrix, to help people create their dream lives, to live a life of financial freedom, of love, of joy, and of peace. I was not always this way. Janet, it's what you were meant to do. I believe that. I do believe that. And I created that belief within myself. So people say that back to me now. They reflect it back to me. Thank you, Janet, for being a reflection of an identity I put in my consciousness. I appreciate you so much. So it's really, really important. Those that are committed will do whatever it takes. Listen, I'm not talking about hustling. I'm not talking about working 16-hour days. I'm not talking about sacrificing time with your kids. I'm not talking about exhausting yourself and being burnt out. I'm not talking about taking 17 courses on how to do strategy, how to brand yourself, how to market yourself, how to launch, how to do this, how to do that. No. The whatever it takes means self-awareness and growth and transformation. It means becoming an elevated version of yourself every single day. It means the commitment to being the best of yourself, no matter what. It means getting uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable over and over again. Things feel uncomfortable and then they become natural. So like, being on TV, for example, the first couple times that I was on TV, it was uncomfortable. I remember when I was on The Doctors, they had me zoom in. And we did an episode on The Doctors on female failure syndrome. This was a year ago. We filmed it probably a year and 3 months ago. And I remember how nervous I was. I got my hair and my makeup done and I was sitting there waiting on Zoom and it kept getting delayed and it kept getting delayed and it kept getting delayed. This is how TV is. And so I think it was like 3 hours later, they finally interviewed me. I was nervous. I felt it. It was uncomfortable. I hadn't done it before and it was such a big platform. There was like 2 million viewers of that show. And I just filmed the show in LA and it was so fun and easy and light. I didn't even get nervous at all. So this is the experience, but you have to go through the discomfort in order to get to the natural. And that's so beautiful. So when somebody says to me, "Oh, I'm uncomfortable, Kathleen," I'm like, good. Let's go. Let's push through. I want to talk about love and money today because this is really, really important. So people have likely heard the terminology or the language that says love and money are on the same frequency of vibration. So do we understand vibration? What that means? Energy. So all of us in every single moment, the law of vibration says that we are vibrating because we are energy that is vibrating, that is in motion. Even when we leave these physical bodies, we continue to vibrate in a deteriorating way. So our body will disintegrate. It will decompose. That's still energy moving. So it's really, really powerful and really, really interesting to think about that because we're vibrating at a certain state. The law of vibration says that we attract based on that vibration. So if you are somebody that is sad, you are bored, you are underwhelmed, you really aren't that happy, you're not that inspired, what's your vibration like? Low and slow. So this is why people that have experienced what we would call depression, they will sleep a lot, not really do a lot, sit down a lot, things like that. Because your vibration is one that you're still in motion, you're still vibrating, but it slows right down and it's really, really low. It oscillates low and slow. But let's think about the opposite then, being inspired, being happy, being excited, being in love. Yesterday, at the end of the call, so many of you raised your frequency of vibration up to here. You started to vibe high. We say, well, that's a vibe, or I'm vibing high. What we're talking about is we've changed the vibration. The physical molecular way in which we are vibrating has gone up to here. So then we start attracting from there. But I don't want to give you guys a temporary raise in vibration. I want to help you operate on a new frequency of vibration. I want you to now vibrate in a way that attracts more money, more business success, better relationships, that attracts calmness and peace, that creates effortless success. Effortless. Beautiful. It's so possible. You heard Nakia yesterday. Kathleen, you're telling me that I can work less and make more money? Really? She didn't believe me at first. The most common message that I get is, Kathleen, you were right. Wow. Were you right? It's how it works. This is how it works. But it's not going to happen over 2 days, 3 days. It's going to take a committed decision to transform who you are, who you think you are, actually. Not who you are, who you think you are. It's really, really beautiful. So what does it mean then when people say that love and money are on the same frequency of vibration? What they're actually saying is the feeling of love and the feeling of having money are on the same frequency of vibration. Money isn't a vibration. Money isn't a feeling. Like having money is a feeling. But money itself. So some people will say to me like, okay, well, how do I fuse with money so that I attract it? It's like tune into the money radio station. You can't. Because money is money. It is a thing, it's an idea that somebody created, humans created. And so money is not big or not small. It's all relative. So I could make myself feel real poor right now if I wanted to in my mind. I could look at all the ways in which I have lack and limitation. And you guys would look at me and go, you're nuts. But this is how our mind works when we compare it to something else. So if I compare myself to a billionaire, it makes me feel like I don't have a lot. I compare myself to someone who has nothing, it makes me feel very abundant and prosperous. So do we want to feel abundant and prosperous? Yes, we do. Why? Because we attract from there. So if you feel like you don't have enough money, that's a vibration. That's a feeling. So the feeling of having no money is a vibration. The feeling of having money is a vibration. And there's different levels of that. And so we want to climb the levels. So what's really, really beautiful though, is if you think about it this way, money and love are similar frequency of vibrations. So being in love and the feeling of having money are similar frequencies of vibration. But this only happens when you have fully integrated money into your heart. Fully integrated money into your heart. What does that mean? Do you feel that? Do you feel that shift? If you allow it to come into your heart and into your life. So we are not going to say things like, I don't need any more money. I don't want more money. I don't want material things. I don't want to be materialistic. That person is wasting their money. That person has too much money. I would never do that with my money. Is that love? I don't want to pay this bill. Oh man, another bill. Ooh. Have we fully integrated money into our heart? Money is a tool. We get the beautiful, beautiful opportunity to use. And we judge it because we don't think we have enough of it. So imagine being in a relationship with someone. Okay, so let's go back to the love examples. Imagine being in a relationship with somebody and being like, oh, I love you. You're so amazing. You're so incredible. You know, all those things. And then you start saying, oh, you don't help me enough. You don't do this enough. You don't love me enough. You don't give me enough gifts. You don't make me feel special enough. We do that. We do that all the time. So that's judgment. We even say, you're too negative. You're too pessimistic. You don't have big enough goals for me. You don't want enough for me. You don't want enough for you. So we move out of love and into judgment. Same thing with money. So when money is fully integrated in your heart, what would that experience be like? I am so grateful that I have the money that I do have so that I can have the things that I do have. So the biggest example for me is thinking about electricity. So electricity is something that we all have access to that we can pay for. And I remember I used to get like my electricity bills and I'd be like, oh, the last thing I want to spend money on. I don't want to spend $300 on my utilities. Gross. Ugh. Now I'm like, I am so grateful that I have lights that I can turn on and air conditioning in the middle of the summer and heat in the middle of the winter. And I'm so excited that I have a water tank that gives me hot water so that I can shower in hot water every single day. I'm grateful I can turn my microwave on and turn my kettle on. I'm grateful that I have a plug that I can curl my hair. None of that would be possible without the utility bill, without having the money to pay the bill. And so instead of being dissatisfied with paying the bill, instead of being in judgment for paying the bill, we be in gratitude for paying the bill. Right? I'm so grateful. Listen, you're going to pay the bill anyway. So do it with love. Do it with love. The other thing with this then, so I said that money isn't a feeling, but having money is a feeling. And you don't have to have money to feel the feeling of having money. So yesterday I did an exercise with you guys where you tapped into the feeling of love, right? So we put somebody in front of you and you felt them, you loved them, you looked into their eyes, you gave them a hug. They were not physically there. They were not there. It was a fiction of your imagination. But you felt this overwhelming feeling of love within you. You experienced love. We can do that exact same thing with money. You don't need money in your bank account, but you can visualize money. You can visualize all the money that you have had up until today, and you can visualize all the ways in which you've used it and how grateful you are. You can actually revise the day. You can revise the experience. So if you paid a bill the other day and you paid that bill in dissatisfaction, you can go back and visualize yourself paying that bill with gratitude, and you will feel the feeling of having money. You can visualize yourself going and making a purchase and making that purchase with ease and flow. Oh, I'm so excited for this new bag I just bought. That felt so good to buy that, to treat myself to have that. Whereas you could go buy the purse, you could then return the purse, you could have you could totally regret it, you could be having anxiety over it. That's lack and limitation. So let's feel the feeling of having money in our imagination. It will allow you to feel abundant and prosperous. And so we're just shifting the way you feel right now about money. It's a shift in perception. Nothing in our lives is good or bad, it just is. Nothing is good or bad, it just is. It is your perception of whether it's good or bad that creates your experience, which then creates your vibration, which then creates what you attract. So you can perceive something to be going well, or you can perceive it to be going bad. You can perceive something to be easy, you can perceive it to be hard. You can perceive abundance, you can perceive lack and limitation. I have this underlying pattern and program within myself that can take things personal. So my personal mind comes in and makes it about me. And that has been something that for much of my life, I made things all about me. If you didn't call me back, it meant I did something wrong. If you didn't want to be my friend anymore, what did I do? If you this, if you that, I always made it about me. Like I had screwed up in some way. I had done something wrong, that I was bad, that I was negative. So I pay attention to when that comes up now. And so when that comes up, I ask myself, is this really about me? Is this really what the truth is? Or am I creating a story? So what's the story? What's the story that I'm telling myself right now? It's fiction. Yeah. Okay. Do you believe that human design is legitimate? Listen, whatever you believe to be true will be true. So if you believe that human design is truth, then it will help you and support you. If you believe that astrology is true, it will be true. You will resonate with what the astrologists say are true about you. So there's so many different things. Whatever you want to experience, you can experience. There is not one truth. There is not one truth that we are all seeking. There is our truth. Your truth creates your life. Yeah. So the other thing that's really, really powerful then too is think about your life. And so when I say that love and money are on the same frequency of vibration, and I say that when money is fully integrated into your heart is when you're fully, you're matching the vibration of love. So just like how I said we can separate ourselves from love and move into fear, what would that be then for money? You're separating yourself from the abundance of money and you're moving into the lack of money. So we're moving out of the abundance of it and we're moving into the lack of it. I don't have enough money. I can't afford this. It's too expensive. I don't want to say that. I do not want to say that something's too expensive. It's expensive based on what? Compared to what? It's expensive coming through my lack and limitation paradigm. So now if I see something and the price is a little like, I'll go, wow, that's cheap. That's reasonable. I thought it would have been a lot more than that. And so what I'm doing is I'm switching the experience away from that's expensive. We don't have to choose the most expensive option. We don't have to. We choose what we want. So for a little while there, I was like, okay, to tap into abundance and prosperity, I am going to do the most expensive thing possible. And I would order the most expensive meal, the most expensive bottle of champagne, the most expensive purse, stay in the most expensive suite that there was. I stayed in the Four Seasons downtown Toronto suite. They gave me an upgrade, so I didn't have to pay. It was $10,000 a night. I didn't have to pay that, but I did pay a large amount for the Royal Suite at the Four Seasons in downtown Toronto. It was like 4,000 square feet, 2 bedrooms, a full kitchen, 2 family rooms, 3 bathrooms. What? It was an experience and I felt abundant and prosperous, but I don't want to stay in a room like that by myself. Just because I want to stay, I know exactly what I like now and the type of suite that I want to stay in. It has a separate family room. It has a separate bedroom. It has 2 bathrooms. It has a desk. That's what I like. So it's not about choosing the most expensive or wanting the most expensive. It's choosing what you want and being a vibrational match to it financially and energetically. Yeah, it's really powerful, really beautiful. So how can we not separate love and money then? So when we are at a place where we've separated love from money, you know, Bob used to say to me all the time, Kathleen, love people and use money. Love people and use money. So how can we use money in a loving way? That's what I would say. So how can we use money in a loving perspective? In what ways can we do that? And so it's not being separated from love, and it's not being separated from the experience of money. It's actually allowing yourself to experience money in a different way. Some people will literally say to me, I can't afford it. And I will say, well, you're choosing not to have it. Don't say you can't afford it. I'm choosing not to buy it right now. But if you really want it, and you really want it with that burning desire, you will always have it. You will always get it. So if there's a house that I want to buy, this house, for example, did not have the money for it. They wouldn't give me a mortgage because I wasn't 2 years self-employed, but I wanted it. And I was willing to do whatever it takes in order to have it. So I didn't lose focus. I said, universe, I would love that house. That house is mine. I planned where I would put the furniture. I planned out this office exactly how I would want it. And it came. I think I made like $400,000 in like 45 days to buy this house. And it came because I created the demand. So many people will say to me, you know, Kathleen, I really want to take your course. I really want to take Millionaire. I want to sign up for Millionaire. Okay. But I don't have the money, so I can't. Okay. That doesn't mean anything. Because if you really want it and you hold the image of it, you'll be in it. The money will provide you, the universe will provide you with what you want to be in it. So don't choose not to be in the program because you don't have the money, because then you're not asking for the money. So I decide to be in the program, or whatever it is I'm going to buy, whether it's coaching, courses or programs, investments, homes, whatever it is, I ask for it and then I expect the money to come for it. So many times people will say to me, Kathleen, I signed up for your program and then the money came to me. Yep. People pay it off early. See, Reshma, right here. I didn't have the money before I enrolled for Millionaire, and guess what? The money came. See? Yeah. Christina, it happened for me. I'm not making this up. It really does happen. Yeah, it's really fun. But you got to believe. You got to believe it's going to happen. Yeah, it's beautiful. Oh, Rebecca, good to see you, beautiful. Are you with Tori? Anyway. So this is really, really important to really, really understand. So what I really want us to think about then. So what are all the ways in which money feels good for us? Sorry, love feels good for us. So when love feels good for us, we are okay to desire it. Would we ever shy away from or ever suppress our desire for love? Like I love, and I am a hopeless romantic. And I would love to experience really great love in my life, whether it's romantic, platonic, whatever, it doesn't matter. Family love, like I just want to experience more love in my life. And so I'm okay with asking for it. I'm okay with desiring it. I'm okay with tapping into the energy of it, the feeling of it, expressing it to people. You know, I love to tell people that I love them. What I'm really saying is that when I think about you, or when I talk to you, or I read a message from you, I experience the emotion of love. That's what I'm saying. So I used to not want to say it. Like I have a lot of you that tell me that you love me, and we've never met in person. We've maybe never spoken one-on-one, but you'll tell me that you love me. And I had a really hard time like saying that back. Now I will say it back to you because I do feel that way, and it's okay to feel that way. And it's okay to express that. So we don't need to modify it. We don't need to hide it. We don't need to suppress it. We just go for it. And I feel that same way about money. So how can you make it okay for you to want it? How can you make it okay for you to say, yeah, I would love more? I really would. I'm not afraid to say it. I have bravery and I have courage that allows me to stand up here and say, yeah, I would love more. Having more would allow me to be more, to do more, to experience more, to change the world more, to invest more, to have more fun, to have more joy, to have more freedom. It's not a bad thing, but we make it a bad thing. And so this is how you separate yourself from love. You separate yourself from money. It's so easy to say, I love you. But it's not as easy to say, I love money. I truly do love the way in which money supports me and helps me. I love the feeling of having money. So I would love more of it. And so I treat it that way. I treat it with love and kindness. I treat it with joy. I am excited for when it comes. I'm open to receive it. I've energetically allowed myself to be open to receive more. So money is, just like love, to be desired, to be celebrated, to create joy around it, to create connection through it, and to experience it in a loving way. After these interviews I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to talk to you about the difference between frequency and vibration. Because it is one thing to be happy. It's another thing to be happy and rich. It's one thing to love your life. It's another thing to love your life and to be wealthy and love your life. There are very wealthy people that aren't in love with their life. There are very wealthy people who are angry. There are wealthy people who are sad, who fight, that are in the drama. Some of the world's most wealthy, successful people, we would say successful because we watch from here and we look at them and they say, you know, you have multiple houses, you have hundreds of millions of dollars, you have this, you have that, you have this, you have that. So you must be happy then. You're successful, so you have it all. But they don't have peace of mind. They don't have love. They don't have calmness. They don't have self-love. They don't have what many of us have. So it's so different. I want you guys to be happy. I want you to be joyful. I want you to be in love. I want you to love yourself. I want you to be confident. I want you to dare greatly. However, I want you to have the financial abundance. I have not experienced the amount of wealth that I have this past 3 years for it just to be me. It's not. That's not what it's about. I am meant to help people to tap into the frequency of wealth so that they can generate more wealth in their lives as well. How do these people become a match to such large amounts of money? They think they're worthy of it, Shannon. Listen, you can be somebody that thinks that you are worthy of a lot of money, but you might not think you are worthy of beautiful relationships or calm experiences or a drama-free life. So they become a vibrational match to money, and money becomes easy for them, but peace of mind becomes hard. Self-love becomes hard. So it's a different way of thinking about money than the way we think about it. So if you don't have the money that you want, do you believe you are worthy of it? Do you think it's easy to make money? I did a post on my social media not long ago, making money is easy. And I did that because I knew when people read that, immediately you have a thought. Right away, making money is easy. Some people will give me the conscious thought. They will tell me what they think they should think. So I do think that I should think that making money is easy, so I'm going to say that. And they will say on the post, yes, making money is easy. I do believe that. But what they might be saying is making $50,000 a year is easy. But when I say making money is easy, I mean making money. Feel the difference? $100K a month. That is really easy. And so if you haven't experienced that, if you haven't made $100,000 in a month, you do not think that's easy. Because if you did, you'd have it. Oh, you guys are like commenting to each other in the chat. This is so funny. I love it. You're having like full-on conversations in the chat. This is a different experience. This is good. This is what community is. This is why it's so important to have a group of people around you that support you, that help you, because it truly allows you to get your questions answered, to grow, and all those things. Okay, let's do some interviews. Okay, who do we have first? I don't know if Chantel is on yet. Did Chantel get on yet, Katie? No? No? Okay. So then let's bring on Adele. I saw her. I saw the supermodel Adele on here. Supermodel Adele. How are you, beautiful?
Oh.
Hi. Do we have a bit of a delay?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to work with the delay. You know how to do that?
Yep. Okay.
So I had the beautiful pleasure of spending some time with Adele in person at a millionaire retreat that Jenna Petrinka had set up. I don't know how long ago this was. Maybe it was February or March. March. It was March. So I had the beautiful opportunity, and I actually witnessed a shift in Adele. We got to talk about it. A shift in Adele while I was at the millionaire retreat. And it was so beautiful. But before we get to that, Adele, why don't you let everybody know like how you came into Diamond Academy's energy and kind of where you were at when you first found us.
Sure. Thank you for having me, first of all. And thank you for sharing my story. I actually have been in self-help, self-development since 2008 when The Secret came out. So I have been aware of manifestation and attraction and have used it here and there and tinkered. And in 2019, I lost someone near and dear to my heart, and it kind of sent my whole life spiraling out of control. But at that time, that gave me the opportunity to really reflect on who I was and who I wanted to be as a person and show up for myself in a way that honored the loss of that person. And also that I didn't carry the identity of the trauma that I've had through my life as being me. And so I've started a self journey, and I, bought a membership to Mind Valley, and did that for a year and never really got any further than that. And then I found you in August or not August, but I found you, I think, in like this summer of last year.
Yeah.
And when you were launching your book, Becoming the One, I was in that 3 days. And when you did the mirror, that was the first time in my whole life that I ever looked at myself with love. And from there, I was like, I need to continue doing this. So that's when I really stepped into Diamond Academy.
Yeah. So Becoming the One. Oh, it was the Becoming the One event that we did. I was in Mexico, yeah. I think, during that event. Yes. I went to Mexico for my 40th birthday, and I did the Becoming a One event while I was there. So I remember that. So what happened at the millionaire retreat? I would love to share that.
Leading up to the millionaire retreat, I showed up at all of the things like you were talking about yesterday, the embodiments and the study groups. I showed up to everything. I was in the community. I was really involved. But the thing was, the one thing I wasn't doing, and I will attest this to everyone, is the work. I wasn't actually doing the work on myself. I was showing up and I was tinkering here and there, but I wasn't really taking the time to work on myself and embody the material. Because previous to being at Diamond Academy, I basically came into this being like, I know all of this stuff. I already know. I'm hearing it again. I know it.
Yeah.
Like, thanks. Like, this is not helping me. I know everything. But the one thing that was missing through everything was the embodiment of it. And so when I went to the retreat, I was just like, I'm doing this for myself. And this is I set the intention before I even left. This is going to change my life. And what unfolded in that time was I really just allowed myself to step into me. And there were, a group of women there that were supporting and accepted me lovingly and unconditionally. And so I was able to just be Adele, the version that everyone else can see. Like the thing is leading up to that point, and that's exactly what happened. Everyone else could see my potential. I heard it 100 times in my life. Everyone else could see the light that was shining inside of me. I know that I have a really big light. I know I have really big energy, and everyone can see it. Everyone can feel it, but I could never see it for myself. And that weekend, I really just saw myself. And so when I embodied that energy, I was like, what the heck is happening? I got sick. I got tension headache in my neck and shoulder. The moment you were arriving, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to throw up. And it wasn't because I was nervous. It was because I was literally like going through these changes and releasing the old version of myself. And I sat across from me at the table. I was like, if they bring food in front of me, I'm probably going to throw up all over Kathleen. But what happened was I excused myself from the table, and there was this beautiful space that just happened to be really cool. That was a yoga studio, and it was really cool. So I just kind of sat down. I was like, what the heck is going on? And there happened to be a mirror, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, this is happening for a reason, but you need to go back in that room and you need to be there with everyone, and you need to show up as yourself. And so that's when I had to go downstairs and I had to get sick, and I came back to the table and I was just like, here I am.
Yeah, it's like you came back like a new Adele. It was like,
I
okay.
was.
Yeah, and one of the things that's really powerful, and I've experienced this myself, and some of you might be feeling this in this moment while you're on this training, is that you do feel that tension in your shoulders, or you might get a little bit of a headache. And so the sign language sign, Angie was the one, a good friend of mine, Angie, was the one who told me, the sign language sign for headache is like this: two opposing thoughts. I actually see it as two opposing versions of yourself. There's the past version that's fighting to stay, and there's the new version that is now starting to take over. And so when the new version starts to take over, you must die to your present self. You must let it go. So for you, it was literally a physical release. Like it was getting sick and physically releasing it. And I know Shannon Beersmore on my team, it was her birthday yesterday. She's had an experience where, and I don't think it was like an instant thing like that at dinner, but it lasted a little while where there was a release and she could feel it, and it felt uncomfortable. It felt uncomfortable because you were releasing a part of you that you held on to for so long and felt so normal and so natural. And so when you did the work, and what do we mean by doing the work? Like actually going deep and asking yourself the questions. Who do I want to be? And so the physical, and it was so interesting sitting at the table with you, Adele, because it's 11:11. When I was sitting with you at the table, and you started to feel sick, I was like, interesting. This isn't actually her sick. This is actually a physical representation of what's going on. There was somebody else at that retreat that almost went home sick, didn't they? That same day, that morning? Yeah. Yes. Was it Kathy?
Yeah, Kathy.
It was Kathy.
Yeah.
So she woke up feeling sick in the morning at the retreat as well. And so what we want to do is we want to flee. We want to leave. We want to go home. We want to say, I'm not feeling it, whatever. But both of you stayed. And both of you had incredible transformations. And, it was a very powerful experience for you. So Adele, you sent me a voice note. Okay. I actually had my team transcribe it for me because it was so beautiful what you sent me. It brought me to tears, absolute tears. You don't have to say the whole thing, but I would love for you to just share like what it is that you said to me in that message. Do you remember?
No. It was a download, but I know that. So from that retreat allowed me to step into the version of myself, which also allowed me to realize that there are dreams that I've had since I was a child that I was holding myself back from going for. And really stepping into myself by doing the work, I was able to apply to be a Vogue model. And if I hadn't have done the work, I never even would have seen that in my feed, because those opportunities and those circumstances that show up wouldn't have been there had I not done the work and stepped into the version of Adele who is a supermodel.
Yeah. Jen, do you?
And the message that I sent you was just, if it wasn't for you, I never would have done that.
Yeah.
I can't remember it word for word.
I'm just gonna see if Jen Perman, if you're listening, you transcribe that for me. Will you, if you find it, can you send it to me? I would love for Adele to read that, to read what she said to me, because it was really powerful. Um, what was really, really interesting for me though, overall in what you sent me, was this overwhelming feeling of, I used to believe that Adele was this, and Adele that was like this would never do this. But now I believe myself to be this. And so here I am believing that I'm a supermodel. That's why I called you Supermodel Adele, because now you're boldly stepping out and saying, I'm a supermodel and I'm applying to Vogue. And like, I am fearless in the pursuit of it. I am brave and I am courageous. And I am a woman who does these things. And so you'll see on my social at times too, I will write, I'm a woman who, ... I use that language. And so if we have men on here, you can say I'm a man who, or you can say I'm a person who, or I'm a spirit who, whatever resonates with you in your language. For me, I am a woman who walks every day. I'm a woman that goes boldly in the direction of her dreams. I'm a woman who takes risks. Like, so that type of language puts it into my consciousness and puts it into my identity. And so that was kind of the message that I really felt from you, was that you believe something different about yourself, something that you hadn't let yourself before. So what is, what's coming up for you, Adele? Like, what is it that you now are asking for? What is it that you're doing, creating? What's next?
Well, when I began with Diamonds Academy, one of the things I asked you at the very beginning of my journey was, I have 3 different elements of Adele. I'm a multifaceted human being. And I was like, how can I do it all at once? And the thing is that, the modeling has become a focus. So I'm applying to other agencies, and I'm actually, my word for this year was freedom. And freedom to me now means actually ease and flow. And so I've just been allowing things to happen with ease and flow, with obviously goals set in mind. But my business, I have a business that I'm trying to 5x so that I can walk away from it and it can just run in the background. And I'm also an artist. And so I actually manifested creating a mural for the first time that I designed myself, that I'm painting. And so there's more of that in the works to use my art in my business. And so there's all of the things.
Oh, I love it. Doesn't that sound so exciting?
It's thrilling.
So Jen just sent me the transcript of the message you sent. Can I read it?
Yeah, please.
Are you okay with that? Okay.
I'm totally okay with that. Yes.
Okay. Kathleen, it looks like you had the most fabulous weekend ever. I had to calm myself down from the crying before I sent you this message. But I know that you get a lot of these messages because you're absolutely incredible. But I was sitting here today because I really didn't get to process the fact that I submitted to Vogue yesterday until today. And I have a day off, so I'm just literally journaling and crying and all the things. But I just had to send you a message after I got the blubbering done with, because I just had to say thank you. I never would have showed up as this version of myself if it wasn't for you and your teachings and showing us how to do the work within ourselves to be able to truly be who we are meant to be. And I would have never imagined in my wildest dreams that I would have submitted for Vogue at 40. Let alone at all. I've been chasing this dream since I was young, but not really ever taking action on it. And the doing at the retreat was the moment where I realized I had to do the work, because that version of who I was when I was at the retreat and who I am now was a version of myself that I was hiding from the world. And I truly am so incredibly grateful for you and your teachings and showing us to do the work. I'm sitting here today not even realizing, up until today, of how much I've changed over the last 8 months and how strong I feel and how proud I am of myself for the first time in my life. This is a feeling that you could not pay for. And I just wanted to send you love and gratitude, and I'm just so grateful. I had to keep myself from crying 3 times reading that to you. That is so beautiful. That message is actually a beautiful tool for you to hang on to. I'll just copy and paste this into a chat with you, Adele. Anytime you feel like you're inferior or less than or not worthy or not proud or it's not happening fast enough, just read that. Use that.
That's the thing. When you match with that identity, those feelings of inferiority they dissipate.
Yeah.
They trickle in every once in a while, but they literally dissipate from your being because that's not who you are anymore. So no one knows here. Like I'm a 6 foot tall woman. I'm a plus size individual. So like I take up space, and I was always hunched over and never taking up the space. Now I'm just like, I'm large. I'm living life. I'm expressing myself fully.
Yeah, and you are so stunningly beautiful. Like, and I don't just mean physically, I mean spiritually, intellectually, just absolutely beautiful, beautiful woman. And so I'm so proud of you, Adele. Like, I feel so honored to be alongside you on this journey. And I know that all of your millionaire retreat friends that are on here now are probably feeling very emotional that they got to witness it too. But this is what this is all about. And this is what we do here, and how we can support people. And literally, it's a community of people just helping to lift each other up. No, like we don't have any ulterior motives here. Nobody else. Everybody just wants everybody to win. And that is true collaboration. And truly, that is love, in my opinion, is truly just wanting other people to do well.
I never felt more unconditional love in that space with those women that I had just met in my whole life, with people that I've known for my whole life. They literally just, I felt so enveloped with unconditional love and support. It was beautiful. And I feel that in every community event, and even just being part of the calls, you feel the love from everyone cheering you on.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Well, Del, I appreciate you so much, and thank you for being such a beautiful part of our community. We just love you so much, and I'm gonna watch this. I can't wait to watch all the
Yeah.
things that you're gonna do, and I'm grateful. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Maria Kramer, you're on. I am so happy to see you. Can I see you? Where are you? Oh, I haven't seen your face in so long. There you are. Oh, beautiful. Okay, I want to bring up Chantel now. Chantel, are you here now? I know there's something going on with your computer, so hopefully this is working. Let's see. There she is. How are you?
How are you, Kathleen?
Oh, I'm so good. I didn't know that when you sent me the message the other day, you sent me a message the other day, right, in Messenger?
I did.
And a beautiful video with it. I didn't know you were speaking today. So
Oh,
so when I saw that, I was like, oh,
yeah.
this is so beautiful.
Well, this was also, this is a manifestation that has come to life. I also sent you a message probably 2 or 3 months ago with a picture of myself photoshopped into another talk that you had. And I had visualized this into reality. So here I am speaking with you in front of
Wow.
2,000 people.
Chantel, I remember that. I remember you sent me a picture
Yeah.
with your face over. Who was it you put your face over? Do you remember?
Oh, I can't remember, but I've been looking at that
That's
picture
so
almost
funny.
daily. And
I love that.
at first, it was like, right, Adele? At first, I was like, oh, it's never going to happen. And all the little gremlins were peeping in. And the more I kind of affirmed it, I knew it would happen one day. But yeah, it happened sooner than what I thought, I
Oh
guess.
my
So
gosh.
that's fantastic.
This is so fun, guys.
And right, life is fun when you step into this energy. And I've got so many similarities, I guess, some similarities with all the speakers that have been on in the last 2 days. And I can totally agree with Adele that this energy is just so inviting. And I just feel like a better version of me when I'm dealing with anybody from Diamond Academy. So to say that this program has changed my life in the last 6 months is really an understatement. It has absolutely just transformed every part of my life. And I know that this is just the beginning. So that's the best part.
Yeah, and I remember, Chantel, I remember at the beginning you had reached out to me before you signed up. And I think you had asked me some questions. You were considering the program. And so it wasn't something that I felt like you jumped into immediately, but it took you a little bit of time. Is that true?
It took me a little bit of time. I would say 6 months.
And
So
what do you think that was? Why do you think it took you 6 months?
fear,
Hmm.
fear of making such a big financial commitment to myself, fear of not being able to follow through with the work.
Yeah.
All of that kind of crept in.
Yeah.
But I followed you, I watched you, I found you on TikTok. And
Oh,
I can't remember if I downloaded your book for free or if I paid for it, but somehow I got it and I was reading it while I was camping. And one of your Diamond Academy team members called me, and I don't usually answer my phone if I'm camping and it's a no number, and I did. And she was absolutely lovely. And we had a good chat, and then the rest is history. I just kind of kept on following you on social media. I joined all your free monthly workshops, and then I joined something, I can't remember what it was now. It was 222 at the time, like a paid for workshop, and I just absolutely loved it. Um, and then after being in your energy more, I just felt like it was something that I needed to do. And I was like, right, so the Chantel in the present moment can't afford this, but what would my future version of me do? And
mm.
that's kind of what, helped me make the decision. So I stepped into the future version of myself.
Oh,
And
that's good.
yeah, that's been one of the key things, just going through my daily life. Everything that comes up, some things are a little bit scary and some things are daunting. And I think, well, what would future successful Chantel do in this moment? And that kind of like helps me make decisions in a more confident, empowered way. So I don't really know where to start with this, but I want to just maybe go back to uh,
I just want to
prior.
I just want to say before you do that, maybe to tell me like where you were before you came in our energy, but
Yes,
I just want to point out that what you're doing is you're taking a future state and you're making it a present fact. So when you made the decision to what would my future self do? She would invest in herself, you did it. And then even creating the picture that you sent me about talking on this event, you created a future memory and you made it a present fact. And then here, and the other thing about it is, and we can tell them the message that you sent me just this week, but you went into it saying this is what's going to happen in the millionaire program, and it's happened for you. So you're literally going to a future version of yourself and becoming it today. You are embodying what I teach.
absolutely. So
This is
exactly what
beautiful.
Adele said. I think the biggest aha with everything, and the biggest factor in me moving forward and progressing so much in such a small amount of time now is the embodiment, is the fact that I'm literally stepping into my power. Every time I
Yeah.
see a doorway now, it's kind of like what I've done is I've associated doorways with stepping into my future self. So it's just like a kind of a reminder every time. I remember years back, I did this like pay it forward challenge, and we got a little rubber band and we put it around our wrist. And every time you think of something negative or whatever, you kind of pull the rubber band, that kind of association. So
Yeah.
I've done that with doorways. But just going back, like if you look at my history, and I always have said that if I had to go back as my grade 12 self in my graduation year, I probably would have written least likely to fail in life. And
Mm.
luckily for me, I found personal development on my own at a very young age. And there's just something in me that's always positive. So I've been in this environment, this learning for a long time, and I thought I got it, but I'd never really grasped the concepts until I stepped into Diamond Academy.
Mm.
So when I joined Diamond Academy, I had just gotten over a year's worth of healing. I was very fit, running two businesses at once, did everything. The mom that puts on like a million things on her plate, shows up for everybody, and then just collapses at night. And I woke up one morning and I literally couldn't get out of bed. I had severe dizziness. My body ached. I couldn't fold laundry. I couldn't walk downstairs. I was like, who am I? It was terrible. I went to doctors. They gave me a clean bill of health, ended up at a naturopath who eventually diagnosed me with chronic fatigue and POTS. And I don't know if you know anything about that, but you can live with chronic fatigue syndrome for your entire life and never heal. So I literally stopped everything, social media, anything toxic, whether it was food that I was putting in my body, lotions on my skin, detergents in my home, changed my diet and focused just on healing for a year. All I did was journal, meditate, tap, you name it. I threw it at me. I put myself in therapy. I did it all. Within like 8 months, I started seeing major progress. And that's kind of when I found you. I started working and things were good. And I feel like it just came at the perfect time. Since then, I always used to say, personal development is like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. I don't say that anymore. I do not say that.
I would never say that.
Right? So I was just manifesting that all the time. Like I'd learn something and then take 2 steps back because I called it. So I don't say that anymore. Another wonderful thing that I've learned from you is that I can change something in an instant, which I've been using more often than not.
Yeah.
And then we fast forward to where I am now. So actually, no, I'm going to backtrack. So when I joined Modern Mentor, I borrowed the money to join, and I knew that I would need to pay it off. And when it came to the point where I'd been in Modern Mentor for about 2 months, and I called my dad up and I said, I think it's time we set some guidelines and I start paying you back. And actually, he gave it to me as a gift at the end of the day. So I feel like I absolutely manifested that as well. So that was just such a major relief. That's a big manifestation for me. And now I'm looking at enrolling into Millionaire.
Yes.
In the next intake.
Good.
Yes. So where I am now is, 9 years ago when my little girl was born, I was doing an Om meditation, and it came to me in a meditation that I should start a personal empowerment program for kids. And at the time I was running a preschool, and I did. I made everything. I wrote books over 9 years. I created an entire program, which I used every day. And I always wanted to give it wings. And just 2 weeks ago, I got to present in front of 350 people, and I got to do a breakout room in front of 180 people. And I finally got to present my program to other educators. And the best part of it, besides that the hour and a half in my facilitation felt like 5 minutes, the best part was when I left, I had my eldest daughter with me, and she said, "Mom, I am so incredibly proud of you." And that was just the best moment ever. It was absolutely amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's the best.
Right? I have big dreams. I'm in the process of, I did start writing a book for grown-ups with children in their world, which I plan on setting a date to complete. And obviously I want to change, what is my word? I want to make an impact one smile at a time around the world. So my affirmation is that I am the founder and owner of Smiles International, and I'm changing lives one smile at a time. So big things ahead, really stepping into my power, and I just can't wait. I can't wait to see what's next. Something else that I wanted to touch on is that I've always known from being in this kind of personal development world for a while that we create our own reality, but I didn't know it. Like I heard it and I thought I knew it, but I didn't understand it until now. And for those of you that are listening, play games with the universe. And I promise you, ask for a red vehicle and you're going to see red vehicles all day. Ask for 5 cents and you're going to pick it up. Ask for a cup of coffee and it's going to be delivered. So that's one thing that I'm really trying to teach my girls, is that you really do create your reality. As weird as that sounds, it's just the absolute truth.
It's so true. Chantel, did you know about my little tattoo? So I have a little tattoo on my finger here, the 2 chevrons. Can you guys see that? So that is actually the Viking symbol. That's the Viking symbol for create your own reality.
Oh, awesome. I
But,
love it.
yeah, and then I have
I may need to copy that.
yeah. No, and then I put this one here, faith, so that I have faith with me all the time. And I remind myself that the faith is the elixir that makes every single thought powerful, every feeling profound, and every action that I take with faith moves me forward. So that's why I got faith
Faith
here.
is like the gas that gets it going. Like you can't get the car moving without the faith. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And the other thing is that I've learned that's really been helpful is the contrast. So every time there's contrast now, which just before my talk, oh my gosh, I had so much contrast. And I was like, yes, bring it on. And I texted Katie Yazek, she's amazing. And I'm like, I've got all this contrast and I'm just like accepting it and being like, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, you're trying to keep me safe, but I can do this. And it was absolutely amazing. So I think just knowing some of the laws really helps us stay in faith.
Oh yeah, it's so beautiful. I want to read the message that you sent me because you didn't. Hold on, I'm going to say okay. So you sent me this Tuesday at 1:30 in the morning. So I'm going to assume you're on like where are you in like Ireland?
I'm in Canada. I'm in Saskatchewan.
You were up at 1:30 in the morning? Oh no, wait,
No.
2 hours behind?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was still pretty late.
I didn't know you were in Saskatchewan.
Yep, that's right. I was going to come and see you in Toronto, but then I'd messaged you and you said it wasn't actually your event. So I'm waiting for your event and I'll book that.
Yeah, I've been really wanting to do something in the Toronto area that's actually run by me. This other one that I am speaking at an event in Toronto, June 11th, but it's not my own event. It's somebody else's event. So if you want to come to like a Diamond Academy thing, I will do one. I will do one this summer. So just stay tuned. But this is what you sent me, Kathleen. I have accomplished more in my business in the last 6 months in Diamond Academy than I have in the last 8 years. Thank you from the bottom.
Absolutely.
You did that. Like, that's so powerful.
Well, I'd like to think we did it as a team, honestly. Like, I couldn't have done the work without the knowledge. So it's a team effort for sure. And I almost forgot. I just published, I am a children's book author, so I published a children's book a year ago. But I just published Empowered, which is a journal and planner for early years educators. And they've been selling, and it's just so exciting every time I get a sale. So it's a planner and journal, and it's just jam-packed full of my Smiles program, which is everything that you teach, affirmations, and it started because of my recovery from burnouts. Yeah. And I just feel like it's so vital that early years educators in general, start to take care of themselves. And that's always the last thing that they do. So my theory is if you don't have 5 minutes in your day to add self-care, then you should be doing this. Then it's a must. So it's full of self-care practices, affirmations, EFT tapping, just everything in that realm. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
So Chantel, will you post a link in our Manifested with Kathleen Cameron Facebook group to your journal?
Oh, I'd love to do that. Thank you. Okay. Yes, for sure.
Just post it and then we'll approve it today. I love this. I love your energy. I love how you're embodying the material. Even before you're in Millionaire, you're literally embodying it by making
I'm there.
Yeah. So beautiful and so powerful. And I'm glad that you allowed our team to support you, because there's this interesting thing where there's some of you that will talk to my team and you'll talk to them all the time and you'll build these relationships with them, but then there's others of you that are like, yeah, no, I'm not going to talk to them. And it is they are the most caring, loving, empowered, inspired people that I know, or they wouldn't be on my team. And
so supportive. Absolutely.
Yeah. And they're here to support you. And whether that's, if you want to talk to them in Messenger, send them a message. If you want to email them, email them. If you want to get on and have a chat with them, they're more than happy to support you and help you with whatever questions you have or conversations. And if you want to go further with us and you want to stay on and become part of our family, we're open to receive you. But we're not here to try to force anybody to do anything. We want you to make the decision to grow and to change and to expand. And we're gonna hold space for you until you're ready to do that. And so I would just really encourage you all to to have a chat with them. I can't talk to you all. I would love to. I would absolutely love to. But so that they're an extension of me and an extension of this material and this energy. So please.
And I want to add to that just quickly. So I feel like that connection that I've made with Diamond Academy has really helped me open up to receptivity, which has allowed for more abundance to come into my world.
That's really
so
good.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I appreciate you so much for sharing, Chantel, and for manifesting this for yourself. Like, I think it's so fun and such a beautiful example of when you see something for yourself and you hold the image of it, it literally comes into the physical form. So Chantel, we're going to think even bigger next time, and even grander, and even more powerful. And, you know, what's next, and what could be the best case scenario of my life? What would an extraordinary life look like for me?
For myself?
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. It's in my 4D already. As I said, CEO of Smiles International. So Smiles around the world.
Yeah.
That's what I see for myself. I want my books in all the early years classrooms. I want them available around the world. I want parents to understand the importance and how essential it is that we teach our children that they're in control of their reality, and that it's not something that you can just do a once-off lesson with, but it's something that we as parents, educators need to embody and show children in our world how to be. And when things come up throughout the day, we've got to have the tools so that we can teach them how to handle things so that they can create the life of their dreams.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so
that's my big dream.
I love it. I think that's an amazing dream, and I'm totally here for it. So let's do it.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I appreciate you. I'm so blessed. Thank you guys both for sharing, Adele and Chantel. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.
So beautiful. I love this. I hope you guys are really feeling that so much is possible for you. There is such a beautiful experience available to you at any moment. I really quickly, before we end for the day, we've got maybe like 15, 20 minutes. I want to talk about the difference between vibration and frequency when it comes to manifestation. Many people ask me, what is manifestation? And I had a beautiful question from my publicist, actually asked me a few days ago. Tell me your interpretation of manifestation. How would you describe it? And he was actually talking about like TikTok, and the whole manifestation trend on TikTok right now is pretty wild. There's a lot of manifestation coaches on there that are teaching lots of different things in different modalities. And what I can tell you is that my manifestation experience and my manifestation techniques and the way in which I teach come from study. They come from knowledge that has existed here in this physical 3D world since the late 1800s, early 1900s. And so I have modernized old information, and I have feminized old information. So what do I mean by that? So the movie The Secret is actually based on a book from Wallace D. Wattles called The Science of Getting Rich. And I remember I was in Bob's studio and he showed me an original copy of that book that was released in 1914. That was all old and rickety. And it was so beautiful because every single word in that book is relevant and true for today, right now, this world that we live in. And it's over 100 years old. Think and Grow Rich, which was the very, very first personal growth and development book, was written in the early 1900s by Napoleon Hill. It was actually written, the world's first billionaire, Andrew Carnegie, asked Napoleon Hill to write that book. He studied successful men, because back then it was men. And so that book is very masculine because it was studying the male experience of success. Well, today in this age, there is women that are achieving greatness. And the principles that aided men in the growth of their success are still principles that us women can use and are still relevant, but it's about feminizing it. And I don't mean making it just for women, but I mean taking the material and the information and allowing ourselves to tap into the feminine energetics around success and wealth and personal growth and development. And so manifestation is spirituality meets mindset meets peak performance. It's personal growth and development. and spirituality. Yes, Marcia, the effortless way. And so the effortless way isn't about hustling harder. It's not about getting into the masculine energy and doing more. It's about understanding your own energetics. It's about understanding that everything is a frequency of vibration that you can tap into, that you can match, that you can shift into. So many people teach manifestation and they teach you to journal. They teach you to auto-suggest and affirm. They teach you to write things out a whole bunch of times. But the key to manifestation is transformation. So if you sit here and you write out 1,000 times $10,000. I'm so happy and grateful I have $10,000. I'm so grateful I have $10,000. So the 55 by 5 method says write out something 55 times, 5 times. Or 369, write something out 3 times in the morning, 6 times at night, 9 times before bed. These are all things that people have said. These will not make a difference. You will not manifest what you desire. You might do it one time, but not consistent manifestations, because you're the same old person with the same old beliefs, the same consciousness, thinking from your limitations, writing things out a bunch of times. It's not about that. It's not about writing things out a bunch of times. It's about becoming a version of yourself that you have yet to be aware of. So we don't manifest what we want, we manifest who we are. So we become who we need to be in order to do it. So Adele was a beautiful example of that. She became an elevated version of herself who does different things. And the same thing with Chantal. She thought from the future self and brought it into the present day today. That is a transformation. That's becoming a different version of who you are. So that to me is manifestation. Many people would say manifestation is bringing an idea from the 4th dimension into the 3rd dimension. Okay, we can say that. Yeah, we can say that I've taken something from my imagination and I see it in the physical 3D world. That's an outcome of manifestation. But manifestation itself is awareness. It is awareness. It is becoming aware of something that was already here. So yes, we create our own reality, but we're creating our own reality through awareness and understanding. And so there exists right now multiple versions of you available for you to select from. There's a version of you that is weak and that is worried and that is in a state of fear and that has no self-confidence. And there's a version of you who is bold and daring and confident and acts in absolute faith. And so it's not about becoming something else. It's about choosing a version of you that already exists and to be that version of you today. So when I talk about becoming the best of yourself, to me, becoming the best of yourself is becoming a version of yourself that you were not aware of yesterday, but you are aware of today. So it's a remembering. So when I had you yesterday, remember the feeling of love. When I had you remember that experience, I had you tap into your natural state. This is what I'm talking about. You were not born with all of this fear. You were not born with this trauma. You were not born with these patterns and programs. You were not born with the limitations that you think from every day. So the feelings that you can't do it, that you're not good enough, that people don't love you, that the world has been bad to you, that life is happening and you're just being taken for a ride. These are all beliefs. These are all just beliefs. They have been programmed in you and you believe them to be true. So then that's what your outcome will be. How many times should you manifest daily? All day, every day. It's not something that you do. It's something that you are. So all day, every day, you're going to be an elevated version of you. You're going to make decisions from a different place. You're going to be different. And so this is what I mean by transformation. It's personal growth and development. People come into my energy 6 months. 6 months is what it's going to take. Are you willing to commit 6 months to change the course of your life? Of course you would. Some of us have 40 years left, 50 years left, 60 years left. I'm okay with putting 6 months aside to change my entire experience of life, to grow and to develop and to learn how to do this. So now every single day, I am always becoming an elevated version of me in every moment. So when I become reactive, when I get activated or I get triggered or I get sad or I get mad or my feelings get hurt, it's an opportunity for me to say, how can I be the best of myself right now? How can I step into a version of myself that I wasn't yesterday? So yesterday, something might have happened and somebody might have lied to me and betrayed me and turned their back on me, stabbed me in the back, and that would have been my perception. But today, that's not the story. I'm not accepting that. I am not going to let myself be a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm a very empowered woman. So the experience will be what you choose it to be. But the feminine energetics and tapping into the feminine energy around this is understanding that it's not entirely what you do, but it is entirely how you vibrate. So there are two different ways in which we can describe these vibrations. So for example, and I'm going to draw a little bit for you guys today. It's not going to be good, but it's going to be helpful. Okay. People message me. I said, I'm not an artist. And then somebody messaged me. They're like, Kathleen, I think that's a limiting belief. I'm like, you're right. But anyways, so let me just draw. So these are frequencies of vibration. Okay. So these are like telephone numbers. They're radio stations that we tune into. These are where we can be operating from. So for example, maybe you are somebody today that makes $5,000 a month income. Okay. So you make $5,000 a month income. You are on this frequency of vibration. You are operating on the frequency of vibration of $5,000 a month income. You believe you are worthy of $5,000 a month income. Your identity, the concept that you hold about yourself is there. Your success mechanism is there. How do I know? Because you keep making that much money. So look at how much you on average make, and you will see that that's where you're programmed. So when I first started to manifest, when I first started learning from Bob Proctor, I made about $3,000, $3,500 a month. And I would always kind of make that amount. There would be some outlier months where I'd have a little bit more, but on average, it was $3,000 to $3,500. So let's say you start studying this material, and maybe you're even on this event right now. You're at $5,000 a month, and I start inspiring you. I start helping you to feel more empowered. You start to change some of your beliefs and your perceptions about life. You start to feel really good. So before you came onto this training, you were maybe vibrating like this. So your vibration, your energy was vibrating like this on a frequency of 5,000 a month. And then you meet me. And then you get inspired and you get excited and you get happy and you start to love yourself and blah, blah, blah. So then you start vibrating like this. Right? So faster and higher. So you're oscillating faster and higher. So you're going to experience $5,000 months in a different way. So before you might have been a little like, oh, 5,000 is not enough. I'm not happy with that, blah. But now 5,000 is like, oh, I'm so grateful for the 5,000. This is so amazing. Life is so good. So you feel different, right? You feel different. So you're vibrating different, but you're still on a 5K frequency of vibration. So I could teach you how to love yourself, to love life, to have a loving perspective, to love people, and you can still not make any more money. There are people that are happy, that are so in love with their lives, that don't have much. This is not what I'm trying to get you to do. I don't want you to stay here and love your life and be okay with where it is. I want to get you up to here, let's say, 100,000 a month. So the process of growth for us then over the transformative journey, let me just take these off. So we're going to start down here where you're at, and I'm going to make you happier. And then I'm going to raise you like this. So then you're operating on a frequency of vibration of $100,000 a month. You are happy. You are wealthy. and you are thriving. This, to me, is what we want to do. So what's the difference between operating on a $5,000 frequency a month of income and $100,000? The emotional conception that you have of yourself. Identity. That's the difference. Who you see yourself as today has created today, and who you see yourself as tomorrow will create your tomorrow. If you choose to see yourself today as the future tomorrow, which is what Chantel just said she did. See the difference? So I don't want to just raise your vibe. I don't want to just help you get happy. I want to help you to make more money by being a different version of you. And this is why Millionaire program is called a Millionaire. Because when you sign up for a program called Millionaire, you're saying, yes, I'm worthy of the millions. Yes, I see myself as a millionaire. I convinced myself I was a millionaire before the money ever came, before it ever showed up. And it didn't come from a place of like, oh, I'm going to be a better person if I have millions of dollars. No, it was like, I would love this. Who wouldn't? Like if I gave you all $1 million right now, none of you would say no. But some of you will say, well, I don't want $1 million. I don't want that. It's not what I want. Really? Why wouldn't you want that? Why is it not okay for you to want that? True abundance and prosperity comes from the divine. It is your connection to God, to spirit, to universe. We have one source of it all, one provider. God wants you to be rich. God wants you to be wealthy. God wants you to have all of the incredible things that are to offer you in this world. It is not a supply issue, it is a demand issue. The reason you don't have what you want is because you are not open to receive it, because you do not think you are worthy of it, that you are eligible enough for it, that you know enough, that you're pretty enough, that you're thin enough, that you have had enough success, that you have enough education, that you have the best upbringing. All of the rags to riches stories that we hear in this world, over and over and over again, there's one thing in common. They decided to reject the old version of themselves. They stopped believing that they couldn't, and they started to believe that they could. Does this little graphic make sense? So when I say that love and money are on the same frequency of vibration, I don't want us to believe that just because we are in love with life, that we're then going to make money. I think that that's a myth within the manifestation world. I believe that when you hear that, love and money are on the same frequency, so all I have to do is be in love with myself, in love with life, and in love with everyone else, and money will come to me. Yes. If you change the way you see you, if you operate on a new frequency of vibration. So you with $100,000 a month income, in your imagination, what would be different in your life? How would you think differently? How would you feel differently? How would you behave differently? We express life based on who we think we are. So Chantel gave you a beautiful example of how she was before and how she would express life before. And then gave you an example of how she expresses it now as a future version of herself. Even to make a graphic and put her face on it, a picture, put her face on it and say, I'm going to be there in the training. Are you willing to do that? I've done that before. So many times. So this is the key, is to become an elevated version of yourself. One that you have yet to have become before. The best of yourself. So how do you describe you? Yes, the positive things. Love to hear it. But the most growth is in the ones that you're not willing to necessarily say out loud. So I truly did believe that because I was a plus size woman for much of my life, I still identify as that. I'm still curvy and I'm still plus size, but I've changed the way I perceive it. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. I think it's actually my superpower. That's why people can connect with me, is because I feel like I have like a real body, real woman's body, and it's so beautiful and curvy. But before I was in this material and before that belief, I thought it was bad. I thought it was ugly. So I used to believe that I was ugly, that I was gross, that I was disgusting. So I would look in the mirror and I'd be like, oh, you're so gross. That's honest truth. I used to believe that about myself, and I would say that. And I used to then believe that I was never going to be successful because of that. That pretty people were successful, that thin people were successful. So I literally wouldn't even try to do anything because I didn't even believe it was possible anyways. There's people who, it might not be the way that they look, but it might be their age. So there are people like, well, I'm too old for this. Or I don't know enough. Or I don't have enough experience. Or I was raised into a family that, nobody was successful, so I would be the first one. Amazing. Let's go. Or maybe it's your trauma that you've experienced in your life. Whatever experience you had as a child. Does that mean you can't achieve? Christy. Yes. Yes. That's really powerful, what you just said. Because it's a choice. Yeah. Yeah. You aren't what happened to you. But what happens though, is that what happened to you or what you went through or the experience that you had exists in only one place in your memory. And so what happens is we keep going to our memory to relive it today. And so that traumatic event that happened in the past that only exists in our memory still sits in our identity. It becomes part of who we are. We might even label ourselves with it. But what if it's not who you are? What if it's not part of something that makes you less than? What if it makes you stronger or powerful? What if it's your superpower? What if it's something that you've been through that you're no longer going through? A lot of times, these are things that we go through for the rest of our lives because we continue to relive them. Oh, Gagan, I love that. Yes. Yes. So you've changed the way you think about you in relation to the experience that you had in your life. That's so powerful. A lot of work to go through. Okay, it's 12 o'clock. I could sit here and talk about this for like days and days and days. A good thing, because this is what I do for a living. I love this, but tomorrow we're going to go deeper. Tomorrow we are going to, I'm going to answer questions. So I know there's some questions that have come through. The team has sent me a couple. So please send your questions in through my team. I'm going to answer some questions tomorrow. I'm going to talk about what I believe success is and why I think you creating your own idea of success is important. Like, don't want the success I have or that your best friend has or whatever, but like, what does success mean to you? We're going to talk about that tomorrow. I'm also going to talk about some of our programs tomorrow. So I always get questions. I've already been getting some of them. So we're going to talk about what we have open for enrollment right now, because not everything's open. So we'll let you know what is open and the different ways in which we can support you through your personal transformation journey. So just know that we will talk about that stuff tomorrow. Replay will also be available, but the live energy on day 3 is always the best. It's a little bit more intimate on day 3. You can actually come off of mute and ask me a question if you want as well. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a guided visualization for you all. That's usually one of the most powerful parts. People love the most. And then I'm actually going to start us off with a song tomorrow together to help us get on the same frequency before we get started. So please come on time tomorrow. Same Zoom link, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be on for 2.5 hours tomorrow. Just as long as you guys want to be on, I'll be on. And then we'll tell you the special